Well, guys, it's that time of the week again. And yes, if you couldn't tell, I had a little bit of influenza. Pretty hilarious, right? So did I skip out on a whole week of reviews? No. I'm going to review all 5 of the final episodes of the Spider-Man TV show right now, baby. Let's go. No two-parter. Okay, so we're doing episodes 6 through 10, finale, obviously, and you know, we'll give some predictions for season 2, of course, but let's just jump right into this bitch. You know what I'm saying? Episode 6, Duel with the Devil. If there's any episode I would have to say is like the filler episode of the season, it would probably be this one. Daredevil shows up. Spider-Man's trying to have, or Peter Parker's just trying to have a day to himself. He can't have that, so he's got to go and have a little tangle with the devil for a bit, if you will. This is a good episode, but yeah, like I said, it's more of a filler one. Daredevil showing up is pretty cool, but at the same time, nothing really happens. They sort of just tussle for a little bit, and then we kind of just talk about, oh, they tussled for a little bit until the episode ends. We do have Nico finding out that Peter's Spider-Man and that Harry knew, but she didn't know. A little bit of drama there. I like that. This one's good. Like I said before, nothing really of note here. I'd give this one like a solid 6 out of 10. You know, it's above average. Number 7, we got Scorpion Rising. Now we are getting into the juice of the show. We got our boy Scorpion showing up, and never have I ever seen Scorpion look this intimidating. This is the sort of street level stuff that I love to see in Spider-Man cartoons or movies, shows, games, whatever. But aside from that, even the B plot showing Lonnie in the 110th Street Gang having to sort of deal with the consequences of his actions. I love this kind of stuff. Not to mention the battle between Spider-Man and Scorpion is so good. This episode especially shows off personally why I think they went with the 3D look. It just looks incredible right here. And we get to see a little bit more of that PG-13 sort of action violence going on. Not to mention a sneak peek at, yes, the Goblin glider. Yes, please. Spider-Man almost gets murdered by the Scorpion until his limp body is carried away by the Goblin glider, but I guess it wouldn't be called that yet. But this was a super cool episode. Just a god tier cliffhanger to end on. Yeah, just some really cool stuff here. This one is easily an 8 out of 10. Only reason it doesn't get that coveted 9 or 10 out of 10 is because there's one moment where Peter's trying to get Norman's attention, but he just takes out his Bluetooth earbud and puts it on the table and then just like walks away for some reason. I don't know, just seems a little cliche. But other than that, god tier episode. Number 8, Tangled Web. Norman gives Spider-Man an ultimatum, causing Peter to do some soul searching. So this one is right after this is the aftermath of the Scorpion fight. So we have Norman given an iconic line, with great power comes great respect. I love this version of the line. It's super cool that it comes from Norman. The whole idea is that Spider-Man's holding back. He's not doing his best. That's why he's getting his ass kicked. I guess you could say this is a bit of another filler episode, but not in a bad way, because the filler that we do get here is we get some god tier Dr. Octopus himself action. My boy's playing Frank Sinatra in his little earpiece. He's not actually, I just imagine that's what he's doing. The whole Doc Ock base gets raided by Thunderbolt Ross and Iron Man. And he does end up getting captured in the end, but the way that it leads up to that, how we get to see him sort of, you know, casually fighting back, but giving up once he sees Iron Man. So good. Other than that, like I said before, it's a lot of soul searching stuff in this one. Peter gets to hang out with Pearl for a little bit because they're working on a school project together. Pearl and Lonnie break up. We get some drama in the midst of Lonnie and the 110 Street crew. And then at the end, we get a reveal that Harry was working on his own Spider-Man suit, which is of course, the classic red and blue suit. So this one's a good one. It's a little on the slower side, but I really like the theming here, and the Doc Ock stuff is god tier. I'll give this one a 7 out of 10. Ooh, okay, baby. Episode 9, let's go. I'm gonna tell you right off the bat, episode 9 is my favorite of the entire series. Not only is the action god tier, the theming beautiful, but let's just get into it. So we basically have round 2 of Spider-Man versus the Scorpion. Of course, it starts off with the 110 Street Gang versus Scorpion and all that. But now I will say, while this is indeed my favorite episode, there is a part in this episode that pisses me off so much. Good Lord. Let's just skip right to it. So at the end of the last episode, The blinkers going off. Oh shit, something's going down. Turns out the 110 Street Gang is trying to break into this van that's been taking all of the Doc Ock stuff all the way to Osborn's, his power and all that. And we get this really cool moment where Osborn's basically bragging to Doc Ock that he's just stealing all of his stuff and that he didn't earn it or anything. Doc Ock makes some good points, basically calling Norman a bitch, which I would have to agree with in this case. Anyway, we get to the actual fight itself. So the Osborn truck is basically almost total. That's off to the side right now. Now it's the 110 Street Gang versus the Scorpion crew. They start going at it. Spider-Man goes in there. Now the part that pisses me off so much, Scorpion gets one little slap in on Don, I believe is his name, the leader of the 110 Street Gang, who was gunning to fight Scorpion, and my boy pussies out. He takes a second look at Scorpion and he goes, I gotta get out of here. My boy gets in a car and just drives off. The leader, the guy who was like, Lonnie, you're one of us. You're one of the crew. Never leave a man behind. My boy just becomes a pussy out of nowhere because the Scorpion kind of slapped him a little bit. And that's it. It's crazy to me because it's like he's seen the Scorpion before. I mean, that was the whole reason they were trying to get to the Doc Ock stuff, so they could have one up on him. But no, he just kind of like, he's like, fuck it. Nah, I'm good. So that was a little silly. But then, of course, Lonnie jumps into the Doc Ock truck looking for something to help Spider-Man out. And of course, Lonnie becomes truly the Tombstone that we know and love. Versus, not really with like the actual stone face yet, but the abilities are there. He's just not gray yet. And this part, oh my gosh, this almost makes it a 10 for me. The Don part where he's running away, it's holding it back. I'm not gonna lie, but holy cow, dude. Peter doing the casual dodges, Lonnie locking the fuck in with the punches, with the right hooks and the left hooks. And then we get sort of a recreation of the Spider-Man No Way Home scene, except instead of taking Green Goblin's glider, Peter takes the Scorpion tail and is about to plunge it into Scorpion. Lonnie's there to stop him. Such a good moment. And the reason that Peter almost does this is because of Norman's words, with great power comes great respect. So good, so good. And afterwards, so obviously Scorpion Gang, that's it. They're all arrested now. We have this really cool moment where Peter calls Norman and he's like, look, the great power thing, great respect. I don't know about that. I almost killed a guy. And again, just another props, so many props to the writing team. Instead of Norman going like, how stupid of you, you should have killed him anyway. He's like, it's a good thing you didn't kill him, So I like stuff like that, how we can set up villains without, they know that the audience isn't stupid. We know that Norman will become the Green Goblin eventually. We don't need to make him like a hashtag villain from the start. So I like how we have this sort of morally gray dilemma with him. So this episode was God tier. I'm going to give it a super incredibly solid 9 out of 10. Absolutely God tier. Okay, finally we have episode 10, If This Be My Destiny. So guys, this is also another super cool finale. We get a lot of answers. We get a lot of setup for the next season, which of course we already have another like 2 seasons confirmed. This one's super cool because we actually get a little bit of payoff, which I was not expecting payoff for the science team. Basically, all these smart people were brought together and were told to make these like seemingly random projects. Turns out it was all meant to be made into this super big portal that'll just shoot off into space, seemingly at like a random location. And then everyone's kind of held back a little bit by it. Bam, the symbiote from the first episode comes through. Doctor Strange comes in. and we get this god tier fight. Again, I think this is where the 3D really stands out. We get a lot of really cool interactions between Strange and Spider-Man, sort of asking what the future holds. Not to mention Norman kind of getting a bit of a setback that we'll see more of in season 2. There's really not too much to talk about with this one. In terms of the actual reveals, we get a reveal that one of the students that was helping out was working alongside Daredevil. Harry ends up starting up his own super smart people organization thing. We actually get the CEO of Sex himself, Ned. We get a little reference to Ned. Let's go. And then the last reveal that I can think of is that Norman was actually, the Oscorp was actually made the spider that ended up creating Spider-Man. Now, I know that had a little bit of controversy online because it's like, it's more of a, in this sake, it's like destiny is what made Spider-Man. It was a prophecy. It was always not a prophecy, but it was always meant to be. And I mean, I like that. I like that. I mean, you're not going to have that in every iteration of Spider-Man. Mostly it is just like an accident. It was random, whoever it was. But in this one, it goes through the portal and turns out it's like always him. But yeah, I don't know. I really like that. I think that it was done very well. I think overall the season was super engaging. There were very few moments that I was kind of with. I think the filler episodes were definitely a little bit lackluster, whereas they were good for information. I think this whole show probably could have been told in about 8 or 9 episodes. But God tier overall, I'm going to give episode 10 a solid 8 out of 10. And the whole show overall gets the exact same score. The whole show, season 1, gets a super solid 8 out of 10. The only big negatives, like I said, those filler episodes, a little iffy. And yes, unfortunately, the animation does still have its awkward moments, even in the final stage of the season. While the action looks absolutely god tier, it's just those little moments sometimes when people are talking where they're moving around a little bit too much, where it just seems a little bit off, almost like a PS2 game. But overall, this was god tier. I love this kind of stuff. I love the different direction they're taking. Predictions for the next season. I think Doc Ock is going to be the main villain for that one. I really do want us to still wait on Norman. I don't think we need Green Goblin. That should be like season 3, season 4. Let's push that puppy out, because I really like the involvement of Oscorp and all that. Obviously, toward the end of this season, we're not really getting too much of that anymore after the big science project kind of fell apart. But yeah, it's kind of it. And I know we got some concept art for Gwen Stacy. I'm not huge on her costumed model, but I think it's going to be very similar to how Spider-Man's costumes changed throughout this season, where we get the homemade suit and then slowly we get the one that we all know and love. But I am incredibly excited for season 2. What did you guys think of this season? Let me know in the comments down below, and like, subscribe for more Spider-Man stuff. Practically almost every week. It comes out so often. So I'll see you guys then. Now get out of here.